I have a pretty weird relationship with the Deadrising franchise. I really want to be able to sit down and enjoy it. The immense amount of creativity the game provides is a no-brainer when it comes to mindless entertainment. Slashing through zombies with a laser sword or mowing them down with a chainsaw strapped to a motorcycle sounds like an amazing time, especially in a Mega Man costume. But sitting down and playing it doesn't actually give me the enjoyment I was anticipating. I think there's a few reasons for that. First of all, I don't think that the Deadrising games are very good at melee combat, and I think it's an atrocious third-person shooter. There's definitely an appeal to having a great game where players can switch between melee and shooting with ease, but neither of these mechanics are very good on their own, so it doesn't make the game feel any more versatile, they just bog down the overall quality. Deadrising has this weird, we can do both mentality that it just can't pull off. This not only comes from the weapons players can use, but also from our main protagonist, Frank West. I think there's a place for a goofy zombie killing video game, and Deadrising fills that spot, but it doesn't encapsulate it. And here's what I mean by that. You can have a movie like Austin Powers or MacGruber where you have a rather goofy and dumb-witted character that is somehow good at their job and play it straight for laughs. That's completely possible. But Deadrising's inclusion of goofy outfits during serious moments isn't really chuckle-worthy, nor does it create a goofy character. It just draws attention to the fact that Deadrising has an identity crisis. If the story was outlandish and off the rails, then having Frank use crazy weapons and wear quirky outfits would create a fun and goofy atmosphere, in the same way that games like Sunset Overdrive does. Deadrising doesn't present itself as outlandish though. The rules of reality are similar to ours, but the only real deviation is with the weapon combinations. Some of the weapon mechanics don't fit in our laws of physics, like the gun that shoots fish or the axe that summons lightning, but this is where the weird mentality comes into play. The entire game is played straight. The scenarios are serious, and there are entire populations of people that are dying to the zombie virus. But players wield outlandish creations. They mow down zombies in their path with an ice sword or a gun that shoots music records. It thinks that it can have fun and be serious at the same time, which is possible, but it can't figure out how to balance the two. Frank West takes it upon himself to start investigating the reemergence of zombies in Willamette, finding hidden laboratories, psychotic survivors, and gets himself involved with the military organization. All of these characters are played like they would be if they were in a normal zombie survival situation, which in itself would work. But it's difficult not to feel weird when someone's pointing a gun at Frank, saying a heart-filled message while the story tries to build tension, and then it cuts to Frank, who as per usual is wearing some silly outfit. The character never questions Frank, never acknowledges his outfit, and pays it no mind. This weird displacement of situational awareness makes Deadrising feel like it's still holding on to its immature and childish ways after every game around it has grown up. Look, there's nothing wrong with being silly in a video game, nor creating outlandish worlds for players to mess around in. But at this point, Deadrising needs to pick a side. Either they make a zombie survival game that takes itself seriously, putting atmosphere and story first, or they need to go the complete opposite direction and make it goofy with all characters being obvious parodies of who they should be. And then Frank can still wear the outfits, brighten up all the colors, destroy the laws of physics, and then just go all out. Look at the Saints Row franchise. They played it straight with the first game, and each iteration from then on would go out and make itself more and more crazy. Way before the whole thing came to a head and you got superpowers and were abducted by aliens. Granted, that franchise isn't doing so hot anymore. They chose a direction to go and fully committed to it. Deadrising needs to make that decision as well, and stop doing this whole 1 foot in and 1 foot out thing that it's been doing for a while now. I would love to see more iterations of Deadrising, but if they do, I would vote for the more outlandish version. Look at all the zombie games that we have now. Dying Light, The Last of Us, Resident Evil, State of Decay. These games do the serious zombie genre well, and I really don't feel like Deadrising is going to be able to compete with them. If they made the jump to outlandish, then the competition in the silly zombie genre would be a bit easier to beat. Although these games are fun and interesting in their own right, you're really going against games like Plants vs. Zombies, Fortnite, Sunset Overdrive, and Deadrising itself. With the weapon crafting system being so strong and interesting as it is, making this jump wouldn't be terribly difficult, and they would be able to amplify their already wacky ideas. Whichever route they take is their choice, obviously. But as it stands right now, they can either be serious, be insane, or do what they're doing and drive people insane with this weird whiplash of atmosphere they've created. You can't be dark and melodramatic, making a character think about who they are and what they've done, then have them fight waves of zombies dressed in someone's pretty decent Comic-Con cosplay. It just doesn't work as well as they think it does.